Hey guys, how's it going? Joe from SNES Life. We're recap number 109, covering Pack in Time, NFL QB Club 96, Rap Jam Volume 1, Phantom 2040, and Sequest DSV. Let's begin. First off, Pack in Time. This is the second Pac-Man platformer game. The first one was Pac-Man 2, which was just awful. Pack in Time, however, you are Kid Pac-Man. Not that makes any difference. But it is significantly better. You are fast and agile. You have this cool rope that you attach to things and swing around on. You have a decent attack. Everything moves very, very fast. The music's decent. The visuals are decent. Nothing in the game's exceptional, but it's good. Like, I enjoyed the hour I played it. It was fun. It was aggravating at times. The worst part about the game is for sure the rope thing. Like, it's a cool idea, but you have to really get the swinging, jumping thing down correctly, or you're just kind of screwed. Funnily enough, that is not the only time we're going to discuss rope things. Pack in Time is okay. It's a thumbs up. I would play it again. I'm not saying I'm going to run out and own it, but it's a decent game, and I think it's worth giving a try if you get the chance. Next up, Quarterback Club 96. This is the next year. The original Quarterback Club was 95, and that game was interesting. It had the quarterback challenge where you were essentially in a first-person view, kicking field goals or aiming for targets or making passes, seeing how far you could throw the ball. And they were just mini games, button mashing or, just timing stuff. And then, of course, there was the football game, which was fine, but it was Madden-esque, vertical football, nothing special to write home about. Quarterback Club, the football feels pretty much the same as the last one. The graphics are definitely better, like the sprites are bigger, they're more defined, it looked nicer, but it played very much the same. And in 96, they got rid of all the mini games. Like, the mini games is what made Quarterback Club unique. And while I wouldn't want to go out to buy Quarterback Club, if you're going to say what Quarterback Club do you want, I want the first one. I want the one that's got the interesting mini games that makes it intriguing to be the quarterback. This is just another football game, and I think they really lost sight of the whole purpose of saying we're the Quarterback Club. They dumped the thing that made them individual and unique, and I think that's a big failure on their part. Next up, Rap Jam Volume 1. Never got a Volume 2. There's a reason. This is another NBA Jam ripoff. It is 3-on-3 instead of 2-on-2, which is interesting. But otherwise, it plays very much like NBA Jam, except they have licensed the names and likenesses of a bunch of famous rappers at the time. Naughty by Nature, LL Cool J, Queen Latifah. And some of the menu music is probably their music. I'm not familiar enough with their music. But there's no music during the gameplay, which I think is a real failure on their part. They paid enough to get their likenesses and names, but apparently not enough to use their music consistently. And otherwise, it played fine. It's a completely functional game. I enjoyed it well enough. I gave it a thumbs up. Like, if you're looking for basketball games to play, I'm always gonna recommend the ones that feel like NBA Jam. And this felt like NBA Jam. It loses a little of the silliness. Like, there's no he's on fire. There's no, well, it says there's a turbo, but I don't know that I ever got the damn turbo to work because it's weird. The controls are a little weird, but it was totally playable. Like, if you're looking for something that is not NBA Jam, I could recommend this one. I gave it a thumbs up. Next up is Phantom 2040, based off a cartoon, which is based off a really, really old comic book. This is an action platformer, and frankly, it feels kind of Metroid-ish. And as such, it is kind of Metroid-ish. Much like Pac-Man, you can see right there, you have the grappling rope in this game, which is how you navigate a lot of levels going up, down, climbing walls and the like. You get a bunch of different power-ups. You go through these different levels, beat the boss, get a new weapon or item that you can use. You're searching for keys and things. It felt very much like an action platformer. Like, there's a lot of shooting and a lot of action and a lot of hunting and exploring. So it feels very much like Metroid in that fashion. There are actually some story beat options that you make choices throughout the game. There are 20 different endings to this game, so there is some replayability. And I give it a thumbs up. This game was totally playable. I enjoyed it for the hour I gave it. I don't know that I would get this, but it's definitely not bad. And I was really shocked I haven't heard more about this game, because it really does fit the bill for a lot of what people say was the best back then, Super Metroid. Except this game moves a lot faster and feels a lot better than, like, I get that Super Metroid is a good game, but it just feels so goddamn slow, and I don't care for it, whereas Phantom 2040 felt very, very fast. Now, I don't think the visuals were as sharp, and the sprites weren't as good looking as Super Metroid, but you make a trade-off. I'll take the little bit of downgrade in the visual department for the upgrade in the moving and agility department. I think it's worth that. So I gave Phantom 20 a thumbs up. Go give that one a look. And then finally we get Sequest DSV. This is a sci-fi show from the 90s. Sort of Star Trek-ish in a way. You are the captain of a giant submarine. The world has changed. There's a bunch of underwater confederations, states basically, or governments, underwater as well as above water. The underwater group forms like a NATO group that builds Sequest, which is this gargantuan submarine that basically goes around and solves a problem every week in the show, So this felt a lot like Star Trek Bridge Simulator. You're in charge of your ship. You've got your kind of command center where you pick the different areas of the ship you move around to. You go navigation. You get to your launch bay. You get your password information. You get your mission panels. It felt very much like that. The big change here is, while Bridge Simulator was all first-person view from that command deck, this one, you can see right here, I'm on a mission. So when you go on a mission, you launch one of 6 vehicles from your launch bay, and they go out and do the mission. I'm running, I think it's called the Crab right now, which is a mining rig. It's out to dig up buried treasure, and it can also be used to like save people from trapped submarines that are no longer movable, which I did. It's one of the later missions I got to. Or you get, the Sea Truck, which looks more like a modern day submersible, or the Speed, I think it was like the Speeder, which is more like a small attack submarine. And those are for the 2D like side-scrolling side missions. And then I'm not sure that we're going to see it here, but the main map is a big open area where you're driving the Sequest around. And there are bad guys on that map that you have to sink as well. And then on that map, you have to navigate to where the different missions are located. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so there's the overhead map. And that's the big Sequest. Looks like a giant squid, basically. And you drive around this map. And then you can see I ran to a cliff, but also that's a mission spot right there. So I go and there's my bridge. And then I go into the launch bay. I pick one of my 6 things, which I think in this one I'm picking probably the Stinger or the Speeder would be my guess, because this one I have to go kill stuff before. And then you have to come back to the ship and launch another one to go back out and collect the stuff that you're actually there for, which I thought was interesting. So the game's pretty involved. I gave it a thumbs down just because it's pretty niche. Much like Star Trek Bridge Simulator. I thought that game was also fine, but I'm a Star Trek kid. I don't think the average person is going to play Star Trek and enjoy it, or play Sequest and enjoy it. However, if you were a fan of the television show, then you probably will enjoy it. It's not a bad game. I did get to a spot where the level was ridiculously difficult, and I could not get past it. So there's definitely a difficulty spike once you get past like your first 3 or 4 missions. And I think that's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, I gave it a thumbs down. Unless you're a fan of the show. Maybe if you're just a big sci-fi fan, you'd get something good out of it. But otherwise, I think it's probably a pass. But it's not a bad game. The visuals were good. The music was good. The controls were fine. Like it's a solid one. You could do a lot worse than Sequest DSV. But that's it for this recap, guys. That's recap 109 in the books. We're moving on to the 110th set of games, so 550. Yeah, I appreciate everybody sticking with me for all these years on YouTube and Twitch. Man, you guys are awesome. And we'll see you guys next time.